Knitting techniques. How to knit the twisted German cast-on, left-handed. To download a guide with our 5 favorite tips to improve your knitting right now, visit newstitchaday.com/5knittips. For this tutorial, you'll need the following materials: a pair of knitting needles, and a ball of yarn. Special thanks to our sponsor Lion Brand for providing today's yarn. Today we are using their Lion's Pride Woolspun, available exclusively at Michael's Craft Stores and lionbrand.com, in the color Taupe. The twisted German cast-on is a variation of the longtail cast-on, which uses 2 strands at the same time to create your cast-on edge. Now, the difference in cast-ons here is it creates a durable but stretchy cast-on edge that is really nice for projects like sock cuffs, where you're going to need a lot of wear and tear on that cast-on edge. So let's show you how we do this. Now, whenever I'm starting a long tail style cast on, I take the working yarn and I wrap it around my needle about 5 times. And this allows us to sort of measure out the number of stitches that we're going to need. The 5 loops will be equivalent to about 5 stitches. So then we can measure the length of yarn against that. So this would be about 10 stitches, and this length here, when measured against the bottom, is about 20 stitches. Okay, and we can continue doing this on and on until we have the number of stitches that we need. And that will make sure that you don't run out of yarn on the tail, which would be a big bummer. So now, to prep, usually you would do a slip knot. Now, I'm not a big fan of slip knots for cast-ons because this knot here can kind of make sort of not as nice of a fabric. What I like to do instead is hold the yarn in my hand like so. So we've got the 2 strands in the bottom 3 fingers of your hand, and then I'm going to take my thumb and forefinger and place it inside that loop, and then we're just going to spread it out like so. Okay, and the tension here between the thumb and forefinger we're going to use to create a loop around our needle. So I'm just going to press down with the needle, and I'm going to pick up the bottom edge and twist that around. Okay, let's do that again real quick. I'm going to come down, twist this around, and that's going to create a loop on the needle. Okay, and that way you're not going to get that little bulky stitch knot from the slip knot. And then I'm just going to shift my fingers back like so, and we're going to be ready to start our cast on. This is going to be very similar to looking like a slingshot, okay, like this. And we can see we've got the yarn coming from my fingers down here around the thumb, around the needle, and then back around my forefinger. Okay, so for step 1, we're going to take our knitting needle and we're going to pick up this bottom loop here, this bottom strand, and we're actually going to come through both of these strands. We're going to come underneath the strands that are going around the loop. And I'm actually going to twist this the other way for this one, for that loop there. So we're coming underneath for step 1. For step 2, I'm going to come down into the loop that's on my thumb, like this. Okay? Now for step 4, we're going to come over, okay? I'm sorry, for step 3. For step 3, we're going to come over this center strand, okay, and come into the loop that's going around my forefinger. And now for step 4, we're going to come through this little triangle at the base where that loop is. Alright, and for step 5, we're going to just remove our thumb and tighten down. Alright, let's do that again. So we're going to come, step 1, underneath both strands, like so. For step 2, we're going to come into this loop on our thumb. Then we're going to come around and over the top of this strand here that's on the inside of our index finger or forefinger, and then we're going to come and pull that loop through this little triangle that's at the base of the loop on our thumb, and then we'll remove our thumb and tighten down. Okay, let's do that again. Come underneath both, in through the loop on the thumb, over and around, and then through the little triangle at the base. Then we'll remove our thumb and tighten down. So it seems like there's a lot of steps, but it's actually pretty easy when you start doing this and you get the hang of it. It'll go pretty quick. And I found that when I am working around the thumb, I can actually just twist that a little bit and it makes it easier to come through. I'll do that again for you real quick. So instead of it being like an X, I just bring my thumb down and then pull it through and tighten down. And that makes it a little bit easier. So there you go. That's how we do the German twisted cast on.
Hey, I'm Johnny Vasquez, founder of New Stitch A Day and your teacher for this tutorial. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to learn from us. If you'd like to see more videos just like this, we produce new content every single day, hence New Stitch A Day. You can click the subscribe button so that you don't miss a single stitch. And if you click one of the links to the side here, you can see the previous stitch in our series or the next stitch in our series. And if you click this link, you'll be able to see one of my favorites. And don't forget, you can also download a PDF with the written instructions for this tutorial by clicking or using the URL link that's on the screen. Again, I want to thank you so much for learning with us, and I hope that we've helped make your knitting and crochet skills a little bit better today. Yarn on!